So let's get Lassie up in the air. Oh, you're kidding me. No, it's no good. Okay, so I just took a bad one there. Took a tumble into that area and right in up to here. And it went completely submerged. So it's now full of water. How much I'm sinking in here. I think it's probably time to put away the map because it's not doing me any good. Just wandering about in circles. And I'm just focusing on getting to that power line. That's at least 4 feet deep. I'm out of the gate. My energy is almost depleted.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
And once again up to 40 metres. And off she goes. Once again, fairly strong bit of wind blowing. So I will have to keep my eye on the battery level because it's a tailwind she has at the moment going out. Now there we go, 300 metres and still in getting oranges already on the Mini 2. Battery level dropping fast. 400 metres and down to 2 orange bars. This is from outside the car. There's a weak signal straight away. The signal is lost, but picked back up again. Okay, we have her again into 4 bars, 4 white bars, down to 3 orange bars at only 500 metres away, and the signal is lost. So it seems that the signal in the RCN1 and the DJI Mini 2 has become quite weak since I last had Lassie out flying. Now she's in FPV mode, so let's see if it makes any difference if I switch her back into normal flight. So 3 orange bars, signal interference, losing the signal at not even 1,000 metres, aircraft not connected now, and the signal is lost. It's asking me to adjust, so I'm adjusting as best I can, but let's head her back out again. Now she's over a kilometre here, but not a consistent and steady signal the same way the Mini 3 seem to have. Signal seems to have picked up a bit now, but it's very intermittent. And there is, once again, a fairly strong wind, which I'm going to have to keep my eye on here if I don't want to be trogging out to try and recover Lassie out in the middle of a field somewhere. It's seeming to be doing a bit better now, having picked the signal back up. That is a strong wind blowing, and I think I may have to do a bit of walking because I don't know if Lassie will make it all of the way back with that wind. But let's see if we can get her out to 2 kilometres with this before losing signal. A weak signal again, asking me to adjust. Remote control signal is lost, but picked back up again. She's coming up in 2 kilometres.
Maximum flight distance reached.
So there's over 2 kilometres. Distance is flashing red now. Let's push her on. There seem to have been a few resets on the settings from the last update. Okay, so there we go. She's well beyond 2.1 kilometres now, and still has a signal. 2.2. I don't want to push her too far because of that wind, and I know she's going to be facing a headwind in the way in. So I think at 2.5, if she still has a signal, I'm going to bring her back in. There's a weak signal, and but she has picked it back up again. But at 2.5 kilometres, I'm going to bring her back because of that headwind. And I'm getting quite a lot of weak signals now. Yeah, so we've lost the signal there just before 2.5 kilometres. Signal lost, so it's time for her to return to home.
Go home.
So I've hit the return to home, which it would have happened automatically anyway. And now I'm going to cancel it and fly her back manually so that I can keep her height down to the 40-50 metres mark to try and avoid the strong winds that you can see flashing on the screen now, to hopefully get her all the way home. Once again, losing a connection. See, the problem is if I take her up too high, I've got a strong wind, but if I bring her down too low, we're going to lose the signal connection. So it's a catch-22, or caught between a rock and a hard place. So the aircraft's not connected, so I'll just initiate the return to home again, and she should eventually at some point pick the signal back up. kidding me. No, 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 it's no good. Oh no. So here's a perfect example of why you should make sure that all your settings are how you want them before you go out to fly, because it seemed to me that when Lassie lost her signal there, she wasn't returning. So I've just checked through my advanced safety settings to discover that it must have been after one of the most recent updates. The advanced safety settings has set the signal loss default to hover instead of return to home, which means that Lassie is now hovering 2 kilometres away instead of returning to home. So I'm going to be walking out until I can hopefully pick her signal back up, and then once I've picked her signal back up I can fly her back. So let's see how we get on here. Whew. So today's lesson is that when you do a firmware update, check through all the settings to make sure none of them have reset, because in this instance I've sent Lassie out until she lost the connection, thinking she would return to home as normal, only to discover that the latest firmware update has reset the return to home settings to hover, and you can't change that while she's in flight. Now she's at approximately 2 kilometres over marshes and some pretty bad Scottish terrain, which I tried walking through for maybe about half a kilometre, but for every one step forward I took, I was taking 2 steps backwards. So I decided to drive as far as I possibly can along a wee track. It's actually a private road that I know I'm not really supposed to be on, but I've spoken with the guy that owns it before and he was fairly reasonable, so I'm going to go out anyway and see if I can pick up the signal again. Oh, and there's a couple of guys up here that I might have to talk to, but it'll be fine. Oh dear God. Just over there. Is she? Meters.
Destination
300 metres away. Right in that direction there. Right, I'm going to have to try and find her, and hopefully these people will be alright about me. And I'm going to be running out of battery on this camera at the moment as well. But we're going to have to do our best to see if we can find her. So let's just keep walking until somebody comes out and tells me that I can't. And then I'll try and reason with them. So 300 metres away. I should be able to pick her up soon with my Mark II eyeball.
in 250 metres, arrive near your destination.
Right, so according to this, 250 metres away. which is still, I'm wondering why I can't see her yet. That's private property here. Does that mean that this isn't private property? Right, so it could be, she could be in that direction there. So it says to walk along this way. Now it says I'm 150 metres away from her. 100 metres away. I don't see her or hear her. So how can she be 100 metres away? Unless she has actually landed. 90 metres. My only thought is that she's actually landed. Maybe the battery just got to such a critical point that she finished her hover and landed. I'm only 60 metres away. Now if she's landed right in this path, that'll be quite incredible. But I can't see that somehow. That'd be too fortuitous. And there's a wee bit of rain just starting now. So I'm only 30 metres away, according to this. Once I get...
Arrive near your destination.
Arrived. Right, so let's see if we can flick back and set her flashing and beeping. Right, that's no... I don't appear to be anywhere near her, according to this map. That's not making any sense at all. Aircraft not connected, unable to start flashing and beeping. Right, okay. So we can't make her flash and beep if she's not connected. So I'm kind of out here just wandering about in the middle of nowhere with pretty much no chance of finding her. Although I'm not going to give up just yet. It's becoming quite clear that I'm not going to find her here. Aye. Right, that's facing north, but that doesn't mean anything to me because I think I'm facing south. But so it would appear to me that right, she's in that direction, but for how far? I mean, it could be a long way in that direction. A long way. And I'm certainly not going to, if she's off in that direction there, right through those woods, I'm certainly not going to start crawling through the woods to try and find her. But I'm not going to give up on her just yet. Not yet. Maybe soon though. So I am getting closer and closer. Slowly but surely, by continually following the red line. And I'm not going at much of a pace because I still haven't fully recovered from the horrendous bout of the COVID. But I don't want to stop and even take a 2-minute rest because I am aware that the battery is wearing down on the controller and the phone connected to the controller and on the drone itself. Now, not quite sure, but I think it's likely that even if the drone battery completely dies, I still have a GPS lock on its location, and I don't think that will disappear if the drone battery completely dies. However, if the controller or the phone connected to it die, then I will lose my visual indication of where Lassie is, and then I'll just be stumbling about in this almighty marshy, boggy, horrible, sinky, muddy bit of Scotland. Which is obviously not ideal. So if I just keep going at a nice gentle pace, I won't have to stop for a rest until I'm close enough that I can spot her with my eyes. Now, I can't turn on the flashing and beeping because, as it turns out, and I've only just discovered this, you can only do that if you're connected to the drone, which is a bit of a bummer. Because this undergrowth here, this marshland, it's long grass. I mean, you're talking about 2 to 3 feet, 4 feet in some cases, long grass and weeds over pits and holes and boggy sections and wee ditches as well. And the ground right now, as a matter of fact, has become very spongy under my feet, which means I'm walking on a surface of moss, which is literally floating on a bog. So at any second I might disappear 6 feet down, and I'm only 5 feet 9. But I'm not giving up on this wee drone. I abandoned her once before, almost 2 years ago, and I still feel guilty about it. So if I gave up on her here, I'd probably never get over the guilt. So I'm going to keep going. So I am getting closer. There's some distance that I have covered so far. I mean, I've walked at least 1.5 miles, well, 1.5 kilometres through some really rough Scottish terrain, mainly boglands. I think this used to be peatlands, and crossed numerous fences, and I am making progress along the red line, as hopefully you'll see if the telemetry is still being recorded, which I'm assuming it is. I've got a fence coming up, another fence coming up, just in 10 or 20 metres. I'll take a wee 60-second rest at that, and I'll just check that the screen recording is still going. Then I'll cross the fence and continue along this red line. Right, okay, let's go over this fence. So she's definitely about here somewhere. It's just weird because I can't take her flash and beep. She's not connected. She's very close. There's no doubt about that. It's just going to be a case of maybe have to he's going to set up a grid sweep of the area, because it seems like just walking about is not doing me any good at all. So we'll set up a grid sweep. Right. In a minute, I'll have another 10 minutes of looking about. So depending how accurate this is, I might be a good distance away. Right. I think it's maybe time to put away the map, because it's not doing me any good just wandering about in circles. If I put away the map and I just do a wee grid sweep, that's probably my best chance of finding her. Because this map's just really distracting me from the task at hand. How nice would it be if she had just landed right there in that big pile, but not to be, I'm afraid. And she's so close. So close. Aye, here's the cliche coming. You've been waiting for it, and yet so far away. Growing, everybody's groaning, I know, I know. Oh dear. Oh, is that? No, it's not, it's just a clump of wood. Thought I'd seen her there, but it's just a clump of wood. Right, but I will find her. So the Pocket 2 just died on me, and about 10 seconds after she died on me, here's what I spotted. Let me just switch the camera view. Yes. Just come roller on.
Take off. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.